on Bianca Asuka in a second. But let's get to the first match here. U.S. title on the line. Austin Theory versus John Cena. Thought Cena kind of buried Theory a little bit a couple weeks ago on Raw. But, I know a lot of folks aren't big on Austin Theory. I kind of like him. I think this latest reboot of him in the last 5 months, I buy into it. I mean, I didn't mind the whole selfie thing and all. There definitely was a limit to that, of course. But I like this theory run here in the last couple months. As a U.S. champion, he's not ready for the main event yet, though. But I think U.S. champion is right where he should be. And again, I'm a guy that keeps saying mid card matters. The mid card has to matter. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I definitely want to formally apologize to Triple H and the team, for Theory in particular, because at first I did not see where they were going with him. But looking back on it now, he definitely is. The character is a lot stronger and back on track to where they should be.
Yeah.
The original Austin Theory was a badass, and everybody, including Scoot Andrews, one of my favorite wrestlers and also a good friend at this point. Shout out to the Black Nature Boy, Scoot Andrews. He had pulled my coat a couple years ago and said, "Listen, Austin Theory is everything that they say he is. Like, that kid is incredible in the ring," because he had just finished working with them, and he put him over on the Indies. And so I've been watching Theory. I didn't like the goofy stuff that he was doing in NXT. I understood it because you gotta find the ability to be a character. But who he is now is who he should have always been.
Correct.
So because of that, I'm going to say something that goes totally against my philosophy. Austin Theory, not only does he have to beat John Cena, he has to beat him clean. I do not feel that the heel needs to cheat in this situation because Cena needs to put him over strong, because when are we going to see Cena again in the ring?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So put him over strong. This kid has to take some offense, and then again, he needs to dominate and win definitively so people can be shocked, and then that can be a story going forward.
And I'll be honest with you, I think that will happen on Saturday.
Yeah, I hope so.
Because I think, again, you're going to create stars also too. While you have your Romans and on top of the card and Cody's and all that, you do need to create stars. This is how you do that. John Cena is doing that. And John Cena doesn't get hurt by this. Come on, doesn't get hurt. He's not even a part timer. He's barely a part timer as is. You know what I mean? So the fact he's doing this match for this kid, I think, if Cena wins his U.S. title, what does that do for Cena? Really, what does it do? It doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do
anything. At all. So yeah, Austin Theory has to win this. I agree with you, win it clean and all that. I think what will happen. How about this one? Seth Rollins against Logan Paul.
You know what? I want to see Logan Paul win this match. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I think that you can get more miles out of it because they were slapped together kind of quickly. The feud makes sense, but I don't want it to end. I think we're just in the beginning. So whether it's the Miz interrupting it and finding a way to help Logan Paul, whatever, I want to see Logan Paul win this match. I want to see him cheat to win, but I want to see him win.
So if Seth Rollins was a definite heel, I'd say yeah. I'm with you on that. But he's taking a lot of WrestleMania losses lately, though.
But does anybody care? You know what I
mean, I don't. I'm just saying, right? But
he's still strong.
He's now a tweener now.
Yeah.
I agree that Logan winning this actually extends the feud probably into SummerSlam.
But that's what I want. SummerSlam, you can bring him to Saudi Arabia. Like, there's a lot of things you can do with this.
Right. And the whole idea is to create as much legs as possible.
Absolutely.
For the company. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I agree with you. I think Logan will win this match. I don't think he'll win it clean, though. I think there'll be some interference somewhere. But I think Logan will win this match.
Well, know what? Let me throw a wrinkle in there. Let's have Ali be the one to help Logan win.
Right.
After what we saw on Raw.
Right. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, there you go. No, I'll take Logan this one, but it won't be clean, obviously. Yep. All right, you got the 6 women's tag team match between Trish Stratus, Lita, and Becky Lynch versus Damage Control of Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. I have no interest in this match. I think it's a joke. I feel like if you're going to bring Trish and Lita back, they should be in individual matches, putting somebody over.
Agreed.
Okay. So this nonsense that we have here, The only way it works for me is if Becky Lynch turns on them or they turn on her.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the only so have them turn on Becky and Becky loses the match for her team. That I like. Or they lose the match somehow, then they beat Becky down over it, and now you can take that to SummerSlam and keep Becky busy and out of the mix because she has to avenge that. I'm with that. But anything outside of that, I just think this is a joke.
Yeah, there's got to be a reason why this happens because there's no way you. First off, I got a problem having two of your best women in company history involved in a 6-man tag.
Yeah,
Becky and Bailey are too good to be lumped in a 6-man tag match.
Exactly.
They should be having their own individual matches because they're that damn good.
Exactly.
So there's got to be a reason. The only reason you're doing this is because there's a bigger story, a bigger payoff on this going forward.
Well, let's hope. Because I mean, it is WWE.
Yeah. So I'm taking damage control to win this. Number one, let's just start there. Because if anything, Dakota and Io need the rub here more than anybody else.
Yeah, they do. They do.
So I'll go damage control there for the win. All right, we mentioned earlier Lesnar and Omos.
Yeah, Omos has to win this match. He has to win this match. He has to. And the way that he needs to win is he really needs to. And we can have interference from the Hurt Business. Maybe this is how you put Omos into the Hurt Business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Hurt Business interferes in this match and we don't call them the Hurt Business yet, but those individuals come in and cost Lesnar the match and Omos stands above him with his foot on top of Lesnar because he conquered Lesnar. And again, now you have something that can continue after WrestleMania. That's a great story to keep going. Or not. Maybe Lesnar goes away for a while.
I mean, the assumption is Lesnar going away for a while. That's what he does. He never really hangs around beyond Mania. He hasn't in a while, other than 2019 anyway. In recent memory, he's been going away pretty much at the Mania. Like he put over Roman twice, and so I don't see why Omos couldn't win this match, and for that reason, because I agree with you. Omos has to win this match.
Yeah.
Then, because if he doesn't win this match, why are we doing this match in the first place?
Listen, you Omos has to win this match because Cody Rhodes needs a giant.
There you go.
Period. And I don't care if Cody wins or loses. We're going to talk about that later. I know.
Course. Yeah.
But Cody Rhodes needs a giant. He needs some odds against him that he has to overcome, and that's not going to work unless you have a guy like Omos be strong. And he's not going to be strong if he's losing to Lesnar. It's just not going to work.
This is basically Cena and Austin Theory pretty much all over again.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna go Omos here. It won't be clean, but I think it'll definitely be a victory here. MVP is on the side on the outside for Omos, of course.
Yep.
All right, here we got the Raw's Women's Championship between Bianca Belair and Asuka. I gotta admit, the build of this thing has been kind of blah.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt the match will be fucking fire. No doubt about that.
Here's the problem. We know that Asuka, in terms of her martial arts ability and her shoot ability, Asuka could probably beat Bianca up, even though Bianca's much stronger than she is.
Yeah.
So my concern, which you can play into this, but my concern on an honest level is that Asuka is going to stiff the hell out of Bianca. May not be on purpose, or maybe it is on purpose, but I think she might blacken Bianca's eye. We might see Bianca's nose bleed for the first time. Like, I think this is going to be a stiff match. And maybe we need that in order to complete Bianca's turn. But Bianca has to come out of this a heel. That's my opinion on that.
If not now, sometime in the next couple months. Has to happen soon.
Forget about months. She's stale right now. Bianca.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it because I was going to say that, and I said as someone who loves Bianca, my favorite women's wrestler on the whole roster. But yeah, she's stale, and for the record, we do have precedent. She was a heel in NXT. So.
Absolutely. So she could do it, and quite frankly, her promos, even when she's a babyface, she's talking like a heel because she's saying she's better than everybody. So EST, right? The greatest, the best, the fastest, whatever. So I think that Asuka needs to win, and Bianca needs to get frustrated and then destroy her.
I can see Bianca winning, but also turning at the same time. Make it, and that would.
So she cheats to win. Maybe she cheats to win.
She does something, something to where she gets some heat.
She does that, then she's got to laugh at the crowd afterwards.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, like, if they want to keep Bianca's champion, you can still do that and have her still turn as well too.
Yeah.
Keep the belt and turn all at the same time too. There's something because I feel like there's more for her, like if Bianca's gonna turn to heel and lose this match, I feel like the heel turn should come maybe in a couple of weeks, as opposed to just kind of sprinkle it for a couple of weeks. It's supposed to do it immediately, whereas she can win and maybe cheat and get some real heel heat, and then so hold the title and then have Asuka in chase mode.
You're not wrong.
And I think Asuka. I mean, I think this match would be great. I think Asuka could probably milk this thing into at least another 2 months.
I think they're going to beat the hell out of each other, though. That's the big thing. And
Right.
there were nuggets. I mean, remember what was it? Was it the Hell in the Cell? There was a match where Asuka grabbed Bianca's ponytail, and that was a real moment. And she was kind of like spinning it around. And I think what she was trying to tell Bianca to do is like spin the ponytail around because they had just done a spot
Right.
together.
Mm-hmm.
And Bianca grabbed her ponytail from Asuka and like slapped her. She didn't slap her in the face, but she like slapped her hand. Like, don't do that.
Do you think there's real heat between these two in real life, or is this?
I don't think it's. I don't think that's. I think it's unintentional heat. I think here we have a cultural issue here where Asuka didn't. She's not thinking. You're grabbing a black woman's hair. Also, you're crossing the line and trying to tell me how to work my gimmick. So there's a whole respect thing there. Like, yeah, you're a veteran, but you stay in your lane and I'll stay in my lane. And even if I miss a cue on something, so what? You know what I mean? That's
Right.
my business. You don't grab my ponytail and swing it around. It's not your ponytail. So, I think there's something there, but I also think that Asuka is not going to be punked by anybody, which is why I say I think this match is going to be one of the stiffer matches on the card, male or female.
Okay.
I think we might see some hard ways in this match. Somebody's going to be bruised up, possibly bloody. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. All right. The next one here, this could be a main event tonight. Maybe not. We'll see. The SmackDown Women's Championship on the line: Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. There's obviously a story here that dates back to the pandemic. These two met at the One Fan WrestleMania, WrestleMania 36. I gotta tell you, Rhea has been now 2 years on the main roster, and to see the reboot they've done with her has been fantastic. And it has to. There's no way in hell that they don't pay it off here. She's as hot as she's ever is, and may ever be. Who knows? But she is right now the hottest woman right now in the company.
Yeah, agreed. So what does that mean? Where do you go?
She has to win. She has to win.
Okay.
She has to win.
Yeah.
Because what does that do for Charlotte at this point? Charlotte holding the title another few months doesn't do anything. Charlotte already beat Rhea once running WrestleMania 3 years ago.
Here's my issue, and I said it. I did the little preview of that match. Here's my issue. Charlotte Flair still. I mean, you main event WrestleMania and you don't walk out the champion. That's a problem. So she did it. The first women's main event, Charlotte was in it, and she didn't win. Are we going to do that again?
But is anybody seen? But is anybody actually like noticing that though? Like she has 13 reigns already as it is.
But EJ, here's the problem. You got to have certain people that are so high up the card that they're instant draws. And Charlotte Flair, unfortunately, is not there yet. And one of the reasons why she's not there yet is because she hasn't had her major WrestleMania moment yet. You know what I mean? Like Charlotte Flair needs to be where Roman Reigns is to a certain degree in terms of drawing power. She's not there.
Right, but I don't think you can do that at the risk of cooling off Rhea Ripley.
I don't think Rhea Ripley is never going to be a draw like Charlotte Flair has the potential to be. So who cares? And that sounds insensitive, but Rhea Ripley, she could be Seth Rollins. She's never going to be Roman Reigns.
Isn't Becky a larger draw though than Charlotte, considering just the fact that she has main event WrestleMania, she won WrestleMania, and
Becky's the Ultimate Warrior. She's a draw in the short term, but she's not a long-term draw. No. Becky Lynch doesn't have the chops to be able to endure like a Charlotte Flair can. There's only certain people who can do something like that. You got your Hulk Hogan, you got your John Cena, you got your Ric Flairs, you got people who are on it doesn't matter how great everybody else is. They're on a different plane. And I don't see it where Rhea Ripley could ever get there, and certainly Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. There's just no comparison long term between the two of them. Charlotte has to be the one.
Plus, I don't buy Charlotte as a baby face. I'm sorry.
No, well, she's and here's the problem. And shame on her. Well, you can say shame on her, or you can say she's right. She knows her character.
Uh-huh.
No one should have to buy her as a baby face because she's going to forever be a tweener. The fans are not going to allow her to be one or the other ever, just like her daddy.
Yeah, that's
She's
true.
not allowed.
That's very true. No, that's a good point. It's a great point.
So it doesn't matter what she does. She's going to be booed and hated by some who feel she gets too much. But those same people are going to love to see her in the main event because they want to see her get hers. So in a weird way, they're going to be cheering her on whatever path she's on because they need her in the main event so their favorite can beat her.
Right. So these matches are supposedly night one matches.
Yep.
These next bunches have not been determined officially yet for which night it's going to be on, but we assume that most of these will be night two. So here's what we think is night two matches here. This match I'm looking forward to watching. Triple threat match, WWE Intercontinental Championship, Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre. This has match of the year written all over it.
Sure.
Potential, definitely.
Sure. I'm not against it. I feel that Gunther has to get out of this match without the championship. And he's another one. He needs to be on a path against Cody Rhodes.
Correct. I agree with you. I think him losing this title is going to be similar to what happened to Randy Savage in 87 and Mania 3, where, you lost the title to Steamboat.
But you're in the main event now.
But you came out big, looking better and bigger. And a year later, of course, you got rewarded. If Roman's going away, as we all hear that it's probably going to be happening for a little while, you need to elevate guys. And I might have texted to you a couple months ago that Gunther needs to be in the title picture next year or so.
I agree.
And this is the start of it.
But here's my issue with him.
Okay.
And listen, stranger things have happened. I would not be surprised if he hears this episode.
Okay.
Or if somebody clips this part that we're talking about his match. Gunther, whatever you're taking that helped you lose all that weight, you got to stop taking it because you don't look good right now. You've lost a little too much weight, and the problem is you're not putting on enough muscle fast enough. Now, look, I'm not saying do HGH or anything like that to put on muscle. No, stay natural in that regard. But that little drug that they're using that was supposed to be for something else, but it also helps with weight loss. It's clear that you've been taking that. You're not putting on enough muscle mass, so you got to kind of figure it out, man. But you're starting to look a little terrible. In terms of it's too much weight loss. Your arms look too skinny. Like it's not, dude, hit the stop button immediately, please. I'm just going to say that.
Right. So Drew wins this one, right? I got Drew winning this one.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think, they're interchangeable. It could be Drew. It could be Sheamus, but whoever loses needs to be either Drew or Sheamus. Gunther can't lose this match. What I mean by that is he can't take the pin.
Right.
You can't take the pin. Yeah. So whatever you do, it could be either one because those guys are going to feud after this. But as long as Gunther's not taking the pin, then fine. I'm down.
Okay. All right, we got Edge versus the Demon Finn Balor in a Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, I mean,
don't sound too excited about it.
No, I'm not. But you know what? The good part about that is they're both good competitors, so they could pull off a great match with each other if they want. I just think Finn Balor has been one of the more disappointing superstars that we've seen in WWE history. Whatever he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, it never translated into WWE, no matter what. And they've done everything they could to try to help the guy, but it's clear he is a lower mid-card guy.
And that's the thing too, because he's very talented.
Very talented.
I love his
handsome guy.
Absolutely. And I love his matches too, though. But there's something that because there's a lot of these stop and goes going with him in the last 5 years.
But the stop and goes are not because the company's cooling him down. He's not getting the degree of reaction that a guy who's been given so much should be getting. Like the company's giving you too much for you not to blow the roof off the place. You know what I mean? He just can't seem to get to that next gear. So, and that's okay. Maybe this is his ceiling, but it's like, man, what a disappointment.
So you gonna pick Edge this one? Or you gonna take Finn? Because I think Finn needs to win here.
Finn needs to win, but the problem and the other part about that is this might be Edge's last match. So, he doesn't have many more matches left in him, Edge.
Right.
So if this is indeed his last match, then it would be nice for him to put somebody over. So fine. Yeah, Finn can win. And you know what? I don't think Finn has to win clean. I think Judgment Day can interfere in this one.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. That's what I was, especially if Edge is leaving. I can see where it's going.
Yeah.
All right. Women's WrestleMania Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag Match between Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalya and Shanti versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. This is easy. Fucking give me Ronda and Shayna. Call it a day. Goodbye.
Yeah, and I mean, there's claims that Ronda is injured, and she very well could be. But I mean, that her and Shayna, that's the money tag team. So yeah, they need to win,
and
they
that's
need
why
to win decisively.
And I know the numbers say because a lot of people don't like Ronda, but the numbers say otherwise. This might be the only way Ronda could be palpable for the time being.
Yeah, agreed.
In a tag team.
Agreed.
If you hate her even more with Shayna. And I think I also save Shayna too, because Shayna's been misused in this company for the last year as well too, in my opinion.
Yep.
So we also have a men's. I'm assuming this is happening at Mania, but the men's WrestleMania Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag Match between Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy with, of course, Chad Gable Otis versus the Viking Raiders. By the way, I like what they're doing with Otis. The OT stuff.
Me too.
That's great storytelling. That's great, man. This is the shit I watch wrestling for. It's for the comedy and all this stuff. I watch it for.
And that's who he is. It's like, you know what? It would have been nice for him to be this monster, but he's not tall enough to be a monster. So, you know what? Do the comedy stuff full blast with him. Just let him do it. He did well with Mandy Rose, so why not?
Profits.
You know what? They want to break up the Profits. And I guess if you're going to break them up, then you might as well break them up now.
Yeah, they were going to break them last year, remember? And then that never happened. Yeah. Here's the thing. They can both... look, I think if Bianca's going heel, Montez has to go heel with her as well, too.
Absolutely.
That has to be one of the things. But you can also do the same way where all three of them actually are kind of the same.
Well, that's true. And you know what? There's value in that. There's value in that. I mean, but then you got to keep them away from Judgment Day.
Which you could. You have two shows for a reason.
You already have a heel faction with the woman in it, so then you keep them away. They shouldn't be anywhere near each other.
I agree. I'm gonna go Profits here.
That's fair. I mean, I'm just not interested in the match, and I guess that's my problem. So I don't really care who wins.
I mean, who actually? Yeah, exactly. Who actually need to win this match?
Yeah,
is a question. I don't know.
Well, they're going to break up at least two of those tag teams.
Yeah.
So, because Otis is going to go full blast with the models, and then you have Chad Gable. Him and Gable Stevenson are likely going to have a stable with, what's the other guy's name, or maybe with the Creed brothers,
right?
But Gable Stevenson's brother. I mean, they're all gonna. This is a wrestling group that could dominate,
right?
In their own right, especially on the mid card. So, I just maybe the Profits, and then Montez either turns or they both turn and become full blown heels. Yeah.
Right. All right. How about the Mysterios? Ray against Dominic. Finally, father and son. Look, teased for 2 years now. Finally got here.
I think it's embarrassing that people are saying that Ray should win this match. Why? Who needs to win?
It doesn't make like you want him to win, yes, but what makes sense for the story?
Yeah,
Dominic getting over.
Dominic Mysterio is the most improved wrestler, like, ever, as far as I'm concerned. This guy has found a way to do something that 99% of the industry has not figured out, and that's how to get the fans to give him legitimate reactions.
Yep,
these aren't playing along reactions. People can't stand the fucking guy. Pardon my French.
No, you.
So I look at it and I say, I want this kid to continue because he finally is on the right diet. So his body is finally starting to respond to the training. He's actually putting on some muscle. He's lost a lot of his baby weight.
His character's great too. His character is
incredible. Yeah, and he's growing into his character. You're starting to believe a little bit more, like, maybe this kid is a little punk. You know what I mean? Maybe this kid is the kid who's hanging out with the tough guys.
And it's kind of funny too, because both him and Rhea need each other.
Yeah.
And both went to the stratosphere. by
They saved each
by
other.
working, by saving each other. So
They
it makes
saved
sense.
each other. Yeah. Yeah.
As much as I want Ray to win,
Yeah.
the
Dom
right
has to
move
win
is
this.
Dominic has to win.
Yeah, he has to win this.
And that's what I care about. I care about the story, not about the individual.
Yeah.
So
And not only that, not only does Dom have to win, he needs to dive full body into this character even more than he's already been.
yeah,
Like, this character can't change in the next year. We need to go into WrestleMania with Dominic Mysterio being the leader of this group and being like the complete badass in that regard. That doesn't mean he has to dominate anyone to win. He can still cheat to win, but he needs to be the leader of the gang now.
him turning major heel. Who this hurts actually? It hurts Baron Corbin actually.
Yeah, completely killed Corbin. Yeah, yeah,
Because Baron Corbin, there's only space for like one major MJF heel per show,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that was Corbin for a lot of years. And
yeah,
now Dominic is that guy,
yeah. And he's
And
doing a much better job than Corbin ever could have.
right now, and I love Corbin for the record, but I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah,
taking a lot of heat off of Corbin. All right,
yeah.
2 more matches. Here we go. Bloodline related here. We got the Usos versus KO and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the undisputed tag team championship. I mean, look, this is a one part of a major story. Obviously, we'll get to Roman and Cody in just a second. I mean, is this the night the bloodline officially, the cracks in the armor becomes just broken altogether? Do we see both Roman and the Usos lose their titles? I mean, I don't see a reason why to continue the Usos when holding a title unless there's more story to tell moving forward. So
Well,
I got to go KO and Sammy here for that reason.
here's the issue.
Go ahead.
How do you reward Sammy for the incredible job he's done over the past 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
To go from Johnny Knoxville to literally being a main event draw.
Probably main event night one, most likely. This could be the night one main event, most likely. Could be.
So how do you not reward him? So I understand giving him the title, but there is something intriguing about Roman Reigns losing the championships and the Usos having theirs. So now Jey Uso can look at Roman and be like, well, we're champions, you're not. Are you really the tribal chief?
That's another point too.
You know what I mean? And then maybe Solo needs to win a championship. Maybe Solo needs to be the IC champion or the NXT champion or something. I don't know. But everyone has a belt but Roman. What does that story look like?
Yeah. This is going many. This can go many places. The story.
Yeah. But the more likely one is that everyone loses all at once, and then it's just the infighting after that.
The reset button on the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'll go KO and Sammy here. That wouldn't shock me if the Usos do win, but I'll go KO and Sammy because it's the story to be paid off at some degree, at least on that end. I can see that happening.
Agreed.
All right, let's get to the big one, main event of the entire weekend, should I say? The Roman Reigns against Cody Rhodes for the undisputed Universal Championship, which we're hearing rumors now that they're working on a new belt design and all this other stuff. Cody being the guy to get over, not a shock. We kind of read this from like a year ago, honestly. But I gotta tell you, Duke, the more we get closer to the match, I'm still buying that idea. Roman's still coming up this thing as the champion. That'll be the swerve. Is Cody winning this match too obvious?
It's a fair question, and I guess here's the issue.
Yeah.
The shelf life of Cody Rhodes being the top guy in the company and having the championship is very, very small. Mm-hmm. It's not a good shelf life. This is like you buying all natural food that's going to expire in 3 or 4 days in the fridge. You know what I mean? So I think that you gotta throw every big monster at Cody, and you got to recruit some more. You got to get some of these NIL kids and dress them up and what have you. Just Cody has to be in constant danger for about the next 6 months, just to try to draw some money with him as champion. But in reality, that whole Great White Hope thing, you're really taking your audience and you're splitting them in a way that I don't think is going to help. I think it's going to hurt business tremendously doing it that way. Because we know that diversity is the sweet spot. There's a reason why Roman Reigns has been the draw that he's been,
as a
e-
heel.
even as a heel, right? He looks like he could be anything and everything, just
Yeah,
like The Rock was, right?
yeah,
Looks like
yeah.
he'd be
Correct,
anything and everything, which means
correct.
that he can appeal to more people. There's no question what Cody Rhodes is. He's the Great White Hope. He's draped himself in the American flag. Who do you appeal to with that character other than just
Un-
people who are wrapped up in the great in the American flag?
unless now that being said, if they had brought, I hate to say this, bring Brandy to the picture, maybe that kind of sort of
I don't think that
alters it a
helps.
little bit. But
I think that irritates people even more. The
mm,
only way you save Cody Rhodes as a draw is putting Paul Heyman with him. That is the only way you can save that and you can make some money off of that.
in term heel,
I'm telling you right now, Paul Heyman has to go with Cody and do for Cody what he did for Roman, and which is what he did for Brock Lesnar. I think
correct.
Heyman going with Cody is how you make that character interesting enough that people will be must see TV to see what's going to happen next.
That's an interesting angle there.
I've been racking my brain about this because you're right. Just having Cody beat Roman right now, it will probably go down as the worst move in company history since putting the belt on Warrior. Like,
It feels like vanilla too, though. Like, okay, yeah, we can do that, and that's it. Like, okay, but I feel like there's more to the bone there. Like, the thing is, the big question here, I think we're going to have to ask ourselves is there more to the bloodline story that we have not touched on yet that we can still get for another 6 months to a year with
are you
Roman
saying with
and
Roman
WWE?
as champion?
Yeah,
Absolutely, because whoever defeats Roman, that's going to be a big deal.
because doesn't Roman kind of need the belt? The whole idea of him being this dominant guy
Absolutely. Well,
is because the belt enhances that.
but there's money in telling the story of Roman falling from grace and then how his family reacts and then they challenge his authority. So that is a great what would they call that, co-main event. That's a great special attraction that you can get a lot of miles out of for a long time. But it still puts the championship in question here because there aren't enough challengers that are enough of a draw where it makes Cody Rhodes make sense. And Cody's going to get booed out of the building around the world for the most part because people just that whole American hero stuff just doesn't work long term. It just doesn't. I know Hulk Hogan did, but that was then. We're a different world now. People are cynical. So unless Cody's going to be heel and lean into it, he's going to be the Bret Hart. You know what I mean? The
Mhm.
Canadian who's a hero in his own country, and then he's a hero everywhere else except for the United States because he's going against the United States.
Right.
Cody could be the United States, the American Nightmare, and because he's the American Nightmare, f everybody else. But Paul Heyman can tell that story for him. But I think that that's the money, and if you're not going to do that, we're going to see a tremendous drop in interest in WWE in a very short amount of time.
But here's the thing: we hear the Roman's going away for a little while. That's the rumor. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but that's the rumor. People putting that out just to throw people off the scent. But I don't know. Like I just think that the closer we get to this thing, Cody winning just feels way too obvious. And I'm sorry, WWE does not do obvious all the time. They don't just do obvious.
But if Heyman turns on Roman and goes with Cody, does that not make you want to watch and see what happens next?
Of course.
That's the thing, right?
Are there any
That's the
signs
thing.
of that? Have you seen any signs of that possibly happening
But
in the lead up?
that's the best part of a swerve. You're not supposed to.
Well,
It's a
the thing is,
swerve.
well, right, but we also no, true. We had signs of that with him turning on him with Brock,
Exactly.
2 years ago.
Exactly. And Heyman has told Cody's story better than Cody has. Talking about his relationship with Dusty, how he booked Dusty when they were poor, and all these other things. Heyman has told Cody's story very well. If you take Heyman out of this, there's the interest in Cody and Roman is not there as much. So what could Heyman do for Cody going forward?
Paid off and turned on Roman. Yeah.
And then even beyond that, Heyman starts, now you have WWE guys who stuck around and didn't leave the company. And now Heyman could talk about Cody was smarter than them and he was able to come back and now he's bigger than them on the card. There's a lot of layers to this thing that a guy like Heyman can make it make sense. Cody by himself, it ain't gonna work, man.
No, you're
It
buying
just ain't gonna work.
it. No, I'm buying into the idea. Like if you're going Cody as a All American babyface,
Yeah.
you're basically doing Hulkamania all over again.
Well, and you're forcing him to be a heel, whether you realize it or not. You're trying to present him as a babyface, and people are just gonna throw it up.
How many legs does I have, really, especially in 2023? Like,
Yeah, you have less than a quarter.
You even heard back in the 80s when Hogan was still over. There
Yeah.
were times where like they had to like modify things because there were times where Hogan would get booed and they had to
Absolutely.
on TV change it. I remember a story about Jake Snake Roberts when him and Hogan were supposed to feud, and they ended that because Jake was getting more pop than Hogan was.
Yep.
And Jake was a heel at the time.
And I think the same is going to happen to Cody. I get it. He's selling merch right now. Handsome guy. It's an interesting story. He's draped in the American flag. So for the short term, he's the great white hope. And certainly there's that backlash. You had a person of color be a dominant champion for so long.
Mm-hmm.
We do need to see something fresh. And there is oh yeah, that's cool. That was a great moment. But long term, it doesn't work.
So you're saying Cody could win, but it has to be something that's like catastrophic in terms of like Paul turning on Roman for it to happen.
Yes, I think you give
it won't
us
be
that.
It won't be Cody just winning. Oh my God, I overcame Roman Reigns, beat him, and I'm done, and I'm the champion. And that's it.
Well, because here's the thing, you're going to force Roman babyface eventually because, again, the bloodline. Now you have a story within a story. So whoa, we got to go get Paul Heyman. He just turned on Roman, and Roman lost everything. And then the bloodline could be like, well, all right, yeah, we can do that because we're family, but we don't have to take orders from you anymore, man, because you still lost. So they're still telling that story while he's pursuing Cody and Paul.
And Roman doesn't have to be babyface complete either. You could be a tweener and still get over majorly over.
Exactly.
Like look at Seth Rollins now. He's not a babyface.
And maybe Seth Rollins, maybe eventually he can get Seth Rollins to help him because he's just pitiful. He's lost everything. He's lost everyone. Who's going to stand beside him? Now you're telling the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens story all over again with different people.
It makes sense, dude. I don't know if they'll go that route, obviously, but the way you're drawing it up, and I mean, those are all the options you have on the table here.
But see, this is the thing. I'm always thinking, and I know you think this way too. Yeah, as fans, what do we want to see? But beyond that, what's going to make money? You know what I mean? These casuals, how are you going to keep their interest? Because you have them right now more than you've had them probably since the 80s or maybe since the Attitude Era. How are you going to keep them? You can't just pay it off with Cody wins and then, all right, good, we're good now. Roman goes away and that's it. Like, Cody's going to fail. Because he's really not that interesting. He really isn't.
No, and Roman is.
And Roman is, exactly.
Roman should be the top of the card. Do they officially split the belts, you think, after this Mania?
I mean, I understand the logic behind it, and I'm not against it. I just, what's best for business is what comes up in my mind. I mean, you're getting the company ready. Allegedly, you're entertaining sale talk. So do you really want to do you want to make too many changes in a way that could potentially devalue the company? You got to think about that. You know what I mean? I think you got to have your top draw, whoever the champion is, they need to be on both shows. And if you split the belts, then you're splitting the company again, which, they found out that in some ways it made financial sense as far as the TV contracts up to a point, but then people stopped watching because they didn't like certain things as much as they like other things.
So you think it's very possible the brand split can be over after this WrestleMania, or close to being over? The brand split in general.
If I was making the decision, I would not do it yet. I would wait another year and let's see if the company gets sold, and then whoever owns the company can decide what they want to do. But right now, I think that's too dramatic of a pivot for the company. It could potentially hurt the revenue that they're generating. And I would not think that's a smart move right now.
One last thing, we'll get you out of here. They got 2 minutes. Any surprise returns coming this weekend, you think? Any names you think?
Oh, I don't know. I think Randy Orton could pop up.
That's the one I was thinking about, Randy Orton, maybe.
Randy Orton could pop up. I know some people are saying, well, what if Orton cost Cody the championship? I understand that story to be told, but I'm not interested in that story right now. I'm
Okay.
just not. I think that it would be better if Orton does something to Theory or does something to someone that we don't expect him to do something to.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If we're going to go that route, or maybe you just save Orton for Monday Night Raw.
What about your boy Riddle?
Look, man, I would release that guy immediately.
I know you would.
And
I know you're not a big fan of his. I know.
I never liked him.
Yep.
I never. And you know what? And you know, my heart out is in 15 minutes, so we got a little bit of time. Let me just say this,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I know that I'm going to piss some people off, but I'm gonna do it. There's something about people who are being their true selves. I can see it, and I identify it immediately, and I'm comfortable with people like that. Whether I like you or not, whether we agree or disagree, you and I can coexist when I know you're being your true self.
Right.
People who have this mask up, and it's clear that they're not being their true selves, and it's clear that they just have a lot of conflict going on spiritually. I sense that in certain people. So when I have a strong reaction against somebody, including entertainers, including pro wrestlers, a lot of times it centers around the fact that I can tell that whoever this person's true self is, they're not being that. And they're being destructive because they have this internal struggle going on. So with a guy like Riddle, I think what has always made me, take a step back away from him, because he's a talented guy, he's a handsome guy, he looks like a main eventer, but he's not being his true self. And because of that, the guy is dangerous. He's going to end up hurting more people around him than helping them. I don't think he's good business when he's not being his true self. Now, maybe he can come back and actually be his true self and live his true life outside of wrestling, which, then maybe that would change. Roman Reigns is a prime example of that. I was always against Roman Reigns because he wasn't being him true self. You're a jerk. You're a handsome guy. You got a gorgeous wife. You come from a great family. You're making all this money. Why are you pretending like you're humble?
It's funny. Like I watched Roman from pre 2020. Like it's almost unwatchable in the sense
It's
that
disgusting.
and not because he's not good. It's just
Yeah.
that he's so much better now.
Because he's being a reflection of who he really is.
But is that also Vince's fault to some degree? Because if Vince is one saying no, we're pushing the babyface.
Sure.
And
Sure.
The rumors for years saying that he wanted to do this a long time ago.
Absolutely.
And it's working.
But I mean, you got a guy in Vince McMahon who's almost, I mean, what is he? He's older than Ric Flair.
78
years old, almost 80 years old, still making decisions on what will and will not work. And yes, he has a hell of a lot more hits than he does misses.
He does.
But he has his misses. And when you look at what Roman Reigns was, he was making money, but he wasn't making this kind of money.
He was trying to do John Cena for Roman, and that's see John Cena. This is who he is actually. Even though people hated the whole babyface clean cut thing, he's really a good guy.
He is.
He is who he is. So you're right.
But he's a good guy who's practical.
Yeah.
So he's not good to the point where you're going to take advantage of him, but he is good to the point where he's going to do what's best for all of us in the end. John Cena.
Right.
John Cena would make a great politician in that regard.
He really
could.
Think
about it.
You
know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of funny when you say that.
Yeah.
As opposed to The Rock, where The Rock is just like, nah, that don't work for me, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Straight up.
You want me in Shazam? That don't work for me, brother.
Nah.
Give me Superman.
Exactly. One more thing.